Hey, board gamers, BJ from Board Game Gumbo here, back in the Gumbo pot. This time taking a look at Wizards & Co., or Wizards & Company, a new game from Sinister Fish. Let's get right to the table, see what this game's all about. Have you ever seen the movie Ogre's 11? That's basically what this game is. So, a necromancer has died, leaving some dungeons full of all kind of treasure, like jewels and artifacts and enchantments. And it's our job to assemble a team to go into those dungeons and steal as many of the good jewels as possible while avoiding getting any cursed gems. Okay, so how does that work? In this game, up to 4 players, takes about an hour. Up to 4 players are going to have a deck of 10 cards, let's say, and we'll draw those cards. Depending on the player count, we'll draw, and we'll have a couple of cards in our hand, and we will play those cards either face up or face down or both to whichever dungeons that we're playing. And we set out a number of dungeons depending on the number of players. So it's easy to scale, by the way. And when you play those cards, they're going to have power on the upper left-hand corner. And you want more power than the other players so that way you can win that dungeon. They'll also have 3 different types of powers. They can be anytime, like when they're out, you'll always have that power available. Or they'll have when played powers. Let's see, I've got one right here. When this is played face up, it'll do that action. Or it'll have that little symbol, that little turning arrow symbol. That means that when the dungeon is full, we're going to start from the statue and go around and we'll activate the powers of each of the cards that are available. Well, that's where a little bit of chaos can come in, because some of those cards were face down. You might not have realized that the player going before you is making a certain play that's going to eliminate your card, for instance. Once all the actions are taken, then we're going to look at the dungeon and see who's got the most power. We'll award the enchantment, which is worth a point, to the person who triggered the battle. We'll let the person with the most points get their choice of these artifacts, and the artifacts are ranked in number of points. The A's, gold, are 7, then 5, then 3. And the second place player will get the other choice. All the players will get the gems on the spaces that they're on. You want to collect as many different types of gems as possible, because the set collection. So if you can get a nice little set of all 6 of them, all 6 different colors there, then that's going to be worth a bunch of points at the end. And then we'll keep scoring sets. But there's also cursed gems. And those cursed gems are bad because not only does the player that have the most of these at the end, that has the most of these at the end, is going to score a bunch of negative points, but also they're worth negative points, and they eliminate some of the gems that you already have in your hold. So you don't want cursed gems, except some cards play well with them. So there's all that strategy to think about. Now, one of the things I like, and we'll do this until we run out of these enchantments, and then we'll finish out the dungeons that are on the table, and then we'll score all our points. So one of the things that I really like about this game is the fact that it is scalable. So it's adoptable in terms of the game levels of the players you're playing with. Playing a family game, people that don't play a lot of games but like this kind of theme, this fantasy dungeon dive, a little bit of chaos type of a theme, but play everything face down. That way these artifacts are just worth points. 7, 5, 3. The enchantments are worth a point for whoever closes out the dungeon. Super easy. This game is easy to teach, easy to play, especially if you play with the starter deck. Starter deck, those first 10 cards are all easy to grok, easy to play. Or, like us, play this version of the game, and that's where everything is played face up. That creates artifacts that have unique powers. Maybe it's an artifact that gives you a special card out of your deck that you didn't already have, and now you're the only person at the table that's got the Void Spider. And it stays in your deck, by the way. You got extra cards in your deck. Maybe it's something that gives you protection from cursed gems, or something that lets you buff. If you have these artifacts, you can actually play them on top of cards that are face down or face up, and it can change what's happening with that card. It can be a protection spell, or it can be something like this, a great sword, which gives a +2 to whatever character is there at that spot. Or it can even give you ways to get points depending on what other characters are out. So there's a bunch of different things that these enchantments, these artifacts do, and I like that part. I like the fact that you can scale it up in difficulty or in challenge by playing the face up. Same thing with the enchantments themselves. Play them face up, and now each of the dungeons, and there's a bunch of these enchantments, so it's going to be different every time you play, it'll actually change what's happening in that dungeon. For instance, this one says if you claim an artifact, you also get to discard a cursed gem. That's pretty cool. This one says you'll place some random gems to the artifacts, making it even more of a dungeon that you really want to get involved in this battle and try to win, because you can get not only the gems here, but you can also get a gem when you get your choice of that artifact. So I really like that adaptability. You can play it family-friendly, breezy game with a little bit of player interactivity, a little bit of chaos, or play it with these where there's lots of keywords and lots of ways to manipulate your deck or manipulate the board state, and a lot of chaos ensues. But remember, it's 30 to 60 minutes. So if you don't like games with chaos, well, you're not going to want to play this game. But, if you don't mind chaos, a breezy little 1 hour wonder like this, I don't mind a little bit of chaos. And in fact, it's fun to see all these cards getting placed down and trying to figure out what the other players at the table are doing. The other thing I really like, the cartoony art and the style of the play, very thematic. It doesn't feel like an abstract games of pinks, reds, and greens. It feels like you're actually assembling this team and you're trying to manipulate your deck to play the best of these. I mean, whenever we played a troll or we played a dragon, that's what we were playing. We're like, I'm going to play my dragon here, or I'm going to do this troll. I'm going to wipe out that imp. So, it felt very thematic from that aspect. A couple of little things. These are kind of picayune, but there's a couple of little things that I didn't quite like very much. And that is, I love the fact that they included player reference cards, but wow, just adding a couple of details to the order of play would have made the game so much smoother, because there's a couple of elements when you're doing the battle royale that you need to do in order, step by step, and it tells you what the steps are but not what's within the steps. We had to keep going back to the rules. That kind of takes you out of the thematic element and slows the game down, and this game is all about playing fast and getting that excitement going. So that was a little bit tighter. Same thing, tightening up the words. I get it, we want to use thematic words in a game like stun or eliminate, but when you do that, those words don't really mean anything. I mean, when you hear the word stun a creature, what does that mean in terms of a deck game like this? I don't know. And we had to kind of go back to say, okay, stun is this, eliminate is that. I wish that had been somewhere or some way of realizing what that is on any of these things. But other than that, the player reference cards, kudos to Sinister Fish. The player reference cards are very simple. I mean, this scoring calculator, it can't be any easier. The player aid in terms of what cards you're going to get back in your deck when you play cards to the table, I mean, it's just very simple, and once you read this, you've got it down. So and how to do the scoring calculator. So other than that, that's pretty good. Overall, I really enjoyed our plays. This is a breezy kind of game. It's my kind of style of a 1 hour wonder where, God, feels like a game you could play at almost any game night. All right, that's Wizards & Co. from Sinister Fish. It's a review copy. I want to thank them for sending us this copy. It's a game that I would not have expected based on the designers, Virginio Gigli, Flaminia Brasini, Stefano Luperto, and Antonio Tinto. When you think of the Italian designers, we normally think of games like the T games, or any of those bigger games like that, or even a game like Rats of Wistar. But this game is more in the line of First Rat, where the Italian designers are making games that are family friendly. And yes, there's still some meat, plenty of meat for anybody to play with their regular game group. You play all the stuff face up, all the enchantments and artifacts, and you play where you're not playing the standard 10 cards. You're playing like we did the other night. You'll play a random deck of cards, and everybody's got the same deck. But now we've got cards that maybe don't mesh as well together, or maybe combo better together, and it's your job to kind of think of those things. So there's elements that appeal to first-time gamers, and also elements that play to very experienced gamers. And I like the fact that they're looking to branch out into games that are smaller and faster and play. So thumbs up from me. I really enjoyed Wizards & Company. My friend Connor wants to keep the game itself, so it's going to stay in the group, and I'll be able to play it more, and I'm looking forward to that. And until next time, Laissez, bon temps, rouler.